But anyway, Sunday night, and I had a long day today, but took a little nap, and I'm rested. This is not gonna be long. I uh, I just want to share my thoughts on two I guess two trending people right now. That is Kanye West and Deion Sanders. Hashtag primetime. Hashtag HBCUs. I'll start with Kanye West because he's made the news. He's been making the news for the last couple of weeks since he got in and talking about Jews and their participation in the subjugation of black athletes, black entertainers, and their ownership of these folks, and pretty much how they've done dirty business with him. And I want to remind people, what Kanye is talking about is his personal experience with members of the Jewish community. How come I can hear that and a lot of people don't? And then the white stream main media and the bought off black media purposely frame it. He's attacking Jews. He's attacking an entire group of people. No, he isn't. Listen, and comprehension. You know, like they say, reading is fundamental. Listening comprehensively, those two also fundamental. And so I've listened to all the stuff, all of the comments he's made. I'll go back and check out the videos and then check it out again. I make sure I hear what I heard. But I know everyone interprets things based on how they feel about the person or how they feel about the messenger. That's not going to stop. But I at least want us to pay attention to what this brother's doing. And no, Kanye West is not a freedom fighter. There are people like, well, he's not a freedom fighter. Whatever. He never ever suggested that he was. And those of us who are smart enough know that he is not a freedom fighter. But what he is one of those randoms. But information is thrown out there. It doesn't have to be pretty. And for those of you who want to write him off as he's rambling, like he doesn't ramble. Because when you hear the truth, you hear it loud and clear. See, it doesn't matter who it is that's talking. It could be like late night and some members of the KKK can be speaking. When you look past all their personal views about people based on their race and all of that and hear what they say, there's some truth in that. It's anybody. If those of you who listen, you hear what I'm saying, well, of course you probably say, I don't like what Rico says. Oh, he's rambling. But the man telling the truth, though. I've always heard that. I don't like his delivery. I don't like him talking about my fill in the blanks. But the man telling the truth. And so, can we all agree to say, you know what? I may not like Kanye's delivery. I may not like his political affiliation. But the man is telling the truth when he speaks specifically about the Jewish participation in the subjugation and the ownership of all of your major celebrities that y'all love. Y'all wonder why they're so silent all the time? Because they're owned. Pick one. It doesn't matter. I'll tell you, yes, that's true. But Kanye is also adding in other conversations. You know, they wanted people with good sense like me to concentrate on this George Floyd blip. I'm not. Because I concentrate on what we really need to be concentrating on. That is his conversation about those particular Jews who run and own big portions of black entertainment, black Hollywood, black neighborhoods, because a lot of them are the real estate owners. So listen to that when he's telling you who the open enemy, the systematic enemy of your people, of our people. But y'all don't hear that. You got thrown out with the George Floyd shit. So, but anyway, he said straight white men are what's the most hated on. Something to that effect, straight white men. And I have a t-shirt that says straight men matter. I didn't designate or specify what race or anything. Because in America, straight men aren't beginning to matter. They're trying to take the polish off of masculinity and heterosexuality in America in order to push a very small subcultural mentally ill group forward. And that goes for those of you who are into your Bible and into God and Jesus, what God's word is and the gospel of Jesus Christ. For those of you who claim that you are just followers of the gospel of Jesus Christ. where it talks about that. In the last days, come on somebody, everything that will be looked at as wrong will be made to look right. Right will be looked at as wrong. Hallelujah. And that's what's going on. No, I'm not a Christian. I didn't go to church past 12 years old. Don't ask me when the last time I read the Bible. But I remember particular things, and they've come, as they say, come to pass. And a lot of us are not supposed to be avid readers and avid followers of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the word of God, seem to be confused by what you hear. Shout out to Neely Fuller, racism, white supremacy. If you don't know its agenda, its purpose, everything that you see would only confuse you. And I'm so glad I read his information. I got to hear, and I also read Dr. Francis Cress Welsing's information. I also got a chance to hear both of them speak in public and have conversations with them back in the day. So I'm not fooled by about a lot of rhetoric that's thrown our way to confuse or throw us off. I heard exactly what Kanye West said at the beginning, and that's what I'm sticking to. All this other stuff is not going to distract me. And they say, "Get thee behind me, Satan." And so, and I want to say that that's just something, Philip, what he just said. Don't take that seriously. But in fact, black people, don't get involved in that conversation. Don't. Stop worrying yourself with his political affiliation. Because until you get off that Democratic plantation, you have no room to talk about what anybody's political affiliation when there's evidence after evidence after evidence after evidence after evidence of the Democratic Party making a dumbass out of black voters. They even put out disgusting voting campaign ads. Get your booty to the polls. What's that other one? No back, no bucking, no loving. No voting, no bucking. Just totally disrespectful. And most importantly, you asked for a black vice president, they gave you a mulatto, a non-black Indian. And all of the major positions in Biden's cabinet went to transgender, Jewish, and white women. Transgender men, or dudes with wigs, white women, and Jewish, and homosexual. No black woman, goddamn, got a major position. And then when they decide to give a black woman, what's her name? Jean-Pierre, who's the new White House press secretary. She was a homosexual and an immigrant out of Haiti. God damn, you can't make this shit up. So stop worrying about who Kanye is politically affiliated with, because he can go either way. And don't worry about if he's running for president 2024. All of it is. But what we need to be paying attention to, and I'm going to get back to the straight white male thing, is what I need you black Americans to finally get inside your head. Pay attention to how the Jewish community has circled the wagons around this one man while we're sitting around here slinging arrows at the brother who's trying to educate you. But let's go in history. Whenever there's a black man that spoke about the bad behavior of Jews as relates to black people, be it Malcolm X, Minister Farrakhan, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, and others, they always get that backlash, and we just seem to follow along. Just go with it. But we more mad at Kanye than the drug dealer, than the rappers who actually promote murder and mayhem in the black neighborhoods and against other black men. I can't take us seriously a lot of times because we allow people to emotionally manipulate us. Not me, but you know what I'm talking about. And so I couldn't care less about. I don't care about his affiliation with Candace Owens. I don't, because I heard what he said initially. I heard what got his show, his appearance on Drink Champs. Noriega is mainly apologizing for what he said about Jews. He threw in the George Floyd thing, but he's mainly apologizing around the globe about what he said, the truth he spoke about the Jewish people. And I have to say, again, shout out to Noriega. But Noriega let that original broadcast flow. Because Kanye West is saying things that a lot of black men, and of course the women, are too cowardly to say out loud. And so instead of attacking him, writing posts and call him insane. And I need for all of you who say he has a mental illness or he's acting out symptoms of his mental illness, I need all of you to produce your PhDs in psychology. I need you to produce your medical degrees or in psychiatry, your MDs in psychiatry. Do you have a LCSW, licensed clinical social worker credential? Or how about a licensed master's level credential? Do you have a licensed psychological associate credential here in Texas? Anything? Or how about nurse practitioner credential with at least 5 years of assessing and treating those with mental illness? Do you have that? If not, just shut up. You're hating. Because he does, when he's talking, he's not crazy. He's never been. But how come whenever he talks about the bad behavior of Jews, all of a sudden you got like the appointed Negroes, he got mental illness. He got me, and then start putting stuff on him that he never even said he was. He's not a freedom fighter. He's not a leader. He's the worst thing to happen to black folks. Really? So George Bush Sr. putting the crack in the neighborhood, that wasn't the worst thing. One of the worst things. Slavery wasn't the worst thing to happen to black folks. But Kanye West speaking an opinion or about his political views and telling the truth about Jewish behavior, that's not the worst thing. I can't take a lot of us seriously. Straight white men. That's another one. I've heard it. And guess what? Kanye West, what he's saying, a lot of stuff he's saying about Jewish folks and what the Jewish community who owns all the banks, y'all not even paying attention. They shut down a whole bank. They wouldn't accept his money. We're not paying attention to the power of ownership. That's why we just walking around in the wilderness. We don't even understand what's going on. Everybody else is running circles around us. We don't even know. Robert, David, Kareem, what's good, y'all? We don't even know what's happening. And so, I heard his latest statement. Straight white man, and he gives his own little thing. Guess what? There's other white conservatives who said that. I think Tommy Sotomayor used to say something similar to that. And we all know that the most hated, the most unprotected, the most disrespected, the most discarded, the most disregarded human being in America, probably the world, is the black male, the black boy, and the black man. We are hated on. White men still, a lot of feminists hate white men. A lot of the beta male white men are the ones who are suffering. The alpha white males, they ain't studying none of that shit. Donald Trump is an alpha white male, and they couldn't shut him down. Even what's going on with him right now, they can't shut him down. So it's those beta male simp ass white men that, oh my God, we hate him. We can't hardly move around. Well, stop acting like bitches and be a man. Be who you are. Be a strong white man, and you don't have to worry about that. That's my advice. And so, no, I do not agree with Kanye's assessment. However, he has the right to say it. But I need us to remain focused. And the George Floyd family, y'all gonna lose that lawsuit because everybody said that. So don't act like it's a Kanye thing. And I just think it was just so disingenuous for you. And I hope Lee Merritt wasn't a part of it, but I think he's their attorney. Suggested or encouraged him, or maybe he filed a lawsuit. Come on, Lee Merritt. Don't do that, bro. Because it's a baseless lawsuit. Anyone has an opinion. And then, again, that's already been settled, but it's all about trying to silence a powerful black man with money. See, these broke ass dudes, they don't care about they don't care about what I say. But it's been known, it's been publicized, he has more than $2 billion. And y'all don't even understand the most powerful, the most threatening voice, the most threatening entity in America is a black man with knowledge of self and resources. So you can have a whole lot of knowledge, but if you don't have any money to move mountains, they don't care. They're afraid that Kanye may actually start using his money to move mountains. You got Oprah, Tyler, you got Michael Jordan, you got all these billionaires, black folks, and they don't put a dime in the urban areas of black America. All they do is give you a movie and a documentary. But they don't do what the white community does when it comes to changing. They actually move the bullshit out of the way, and they rebuild and also employ. We think it's okay when billionaires, give us a documentary and a movie to make us feel good about ourselves. We still act like that in 2022. Just stupid. We act like adolescents, intellectual adolescents. And so even the politicians, we don't even demand that they siphon the money out of the cities and states' coffers for our self-improvement or for our community improvement. We don't. We mess around and become fans of fucking politicians. Oh, he came to my church. His son go to school with my daughter. What's wrong with us? We don't understand business. It's business. And listen, and I need y'all to pay attention to all these Jewish-owned companies and white-owned companies that took the heed or heed the call of Ari. People love they play so much. Of Ari Emanuel, who told all the Jews, and I think one of them, even Adidas, reportedly, allegedly, was opened by two Nazi first, the company Adidas, asking them all to not do business with Kanye. Y'all pay attention to all those companies. And I would say boycott, but we don't know what that means. We only boycott each other. You see how we can all build a fence around hating on Kanye? But if y'all want to hate on black rappers, hate about the ones that always use the N-word and cuss out black folks and push murder and madness and mayhem on black boys, black girls, and black women in the black neighborhoods. Those are ones y'all need to cancel. So, you know, they're going to be all right. Damn the straight white men. They're going to be fine. It's some beta male, blue pill, punk-ass white boys that's, you know, those are the ones that's around here crying and bitching, them little feminine white boys. But alpha white men are not being hated. Well, they might be being hated on, and historically speaking, they should be. But they're not. They're too busy being capitalists and globalists to give a damn about who's hating on them. Get it? Okay. Now let me go on to the second black man who's been hated on by black people for absolutely no reason at all. That is Deion Sanders, the iconic, legendary sports figure, Hall of Famer, Deion Sanders. And I'm not even into sports. I'm just reading his resume. Yes, Deion Sanders is flashy. He's flamboyant, as people call. You know, he's verbose. He's the Muhammad Ali of football. He is. He is. And there are members of the HBCU community who are really spitting out the pits of sour grapes, envy, insecurity, jealousy of the attention and the spotlight that Deion's platform has brought to HBCUs. I need y'all to cut it out. Stop doing that. And all this stuff about, well, he's the only work for Jackson State. It's only benefit Jackson State. No. That recent interview on 60 Minutes benefits all HBCUs. He talks about the inequities in funding and resources and structural foundations of all HBCUs. And guess what? Yes, we all benefit. He's talking about that. But y'all so busy getting involved with the man personally, you don't see that lightning bolt that's just striking. And instead of grabbing hold of that and catching some of that and taking it to our respective campuses, we sit back like a bunch of cantankerous old men and cantankerous old women. Well, they ain't gonna last long. He ain't doing much. All he care about is himself. He ain't, he here but a short time. We ain't doing that much. Hell, we was doing that before he got here. All that kind of conversation. You ought to be ashamed. Guess what? Yes, HBCUs have been chugging along and doing great. But that spark that Deion Sanders brought, y'all never thought to ask, well, how come it took this one man, Deion Sanders, to come from the NFL, number 2 or number 3, who was still relevant to say, hey, I'm black. I probably graduated from an HBCU or I graduated from PWI to go on to the NFL. Let me go back See, what y'all not paying attention to, hopefully, if we can encourage this, this can become a trend. Other newly retired or famous NFL players could come back and bring their platform and their energy and their fame and or popularity to HBCUs and bring those dollars with them and their recruitment excitement. Deion Sanders is doing something astronomical. It's explosive. You know, and when I talk about Deion and what he's doing for Jackson State, all in my head is Grambling. I said Grambling. And what it does is, when you look at what Deion is doing, that should make you go to your president of your university and say, look, bro, you need to step your game up. We've been doing okay, but you need to step it up. And you need to tell the vice president of student affairs, the dean of students, and the recruitment department, y'all need to get on this wave. And we need to form a conglomerate and say, we are HBCUs. And to ride that wave, fool. But if you believe that Deion Sanders only has about 3, maybe 2, 3, or maybe 4 more years left at Jackson State, let's grab this lightning in a bottle. Let's capture it and bring it to our individual campuses. Because, let me see, you got Eddie George at Tennessee State. Yeah. You can tell the truth, the devil gets busy. And so, instead of putting all these little Deion Sanders primetime hating posts trying to intellectualize your envy, don't do that. You know, and guess what? He probably has a personality that rubs quite a few people wrong, but still, Deion Sanders is a winner, proven winner. And guess what? He is academic or a college speaking. He is a box office draw. Let me tell y'all something. Even the folks at Jackson State threw a little side eye at Deion. They're gonna say, people saying that Deion Sanders is selling out, our bowl, our stadium. Did they put a picture from 1998? We've been doing that. Okay, all right, okay. Deion Sanders' presence has not erased our presence historically. What he is doing is adding to it and even highlighting our history. See, a lot of it can be a dim light going on, but someone comes with a 100-watt bulb, 100-watt or LED bulb and shine on it. There are people who never even noticed us to say, hey, damn, I didn't know Grambling was there. Let me go thumb through the annals of history and the pages of history and say, oh, wow, Eddie Robinson? Oh, wow, the band? Oh, wow, they had the engineering program? Oh, wow, they had the top nursing program? Oh, wow, there's social sciences and liberal arts programs? See, someone has to come and brighten that light to a lot of HBCUs' lights have been kind of dim due to the heavy, oppressive administrative hand of this small funding. And we don't get that much advertisement. Hell, a lot of HBCU alumni don't advertise our HBCUs. We have thousands upon thousands of HBCU alumni. How often do you see them wearing HBCU stuff like Grambling, Southern, Hampton, Howard, Central State, Elizabeth City, you name it, all the Lincoln. You'll see them wearing that stuff the way they wear the Cowboys, the way they wear Colorado State, USC, Vanderbilt. They wear all the white school stuff just because they went and got a master's degree there, or maybe, and then number 2, they send their kids to other schools. So I'm just saying, Deion Sanders hopefully he's making all of us look shamed for us not putting in that 150% into our very own product. Hopefully, I think he's making a lot of people feel shame about the little effort that they're putting in when they thought they were doing a lot. He came in like, no, this is how it's supposed to be done. Even if he leaves next year, even if he leaves 2 years from now, let's grab this and bring some of the energy to our campuses. And then when we look for the next leadership at our institution, we said we want a president with that Deion Sanders energy. We want a coach or a president and a vice president of student affairs, vice president for academic affairs, a dean of students with that Deion Sanders energy. He has set a precedence And I think a lot of black officials at these HBCUs have gotten nervous because they know that they're lacking. And I love the way Deion Sanders calls it out. I wish there's at least 10 to 30 more people just like him that come from the NFL with their clout and their own money, and they bring their stuff and they attach themselves to Fisk. They attach themselves to just pick a HBCU. Because one thing about it, I don't know if y'all saw this video that was going around. This brother was talking about the prime time effect. He was saying that before homecoming, I think, before their homecoming, he was saying that, hey, Charmaine, sweetheart. He was saying that about 700 young men, of course, mainly African American, recruitment of African American men up, have called Jackson State inquiring about doing a campus visit. And he said 300 of those young men were top Power 5 young men in their high schools. Y'all want to see racism and white supremacy? Open your eyes. It's going to start happening. In case those of you who didn't catch racism and white supremacy beginning to churn, Nick Saban kicked it off, but y'all didn't pay attention. Because Deion Sanders got about 2 or 3 of those top 5 black dudes to commit to Jackson State instead of some Alabama or some big white school that got a $500 billion endowment. And that in itself, I think this one guy I think he was supposed to go to Alabama, but he chose Jackson State because of Deion Sanders being there. And Nick Saban, who people are always kissing his little racist white ass, came out and showed y'all who and what he is. Old Southern racist cracker. Well, I think Deion must be bribing them, giving them $1 million. Some little disrespectful side-eye statement that he made about Deion. And Deion addressed it. You know, they're in a commercial together and act like, well, that's business. Yeah, but he makes about $7 or $8 million off the backs of them black boys coming from the black ghettos. And we all know that these white schools have always gone to the ghettos, the hoods, to get this black talent and get a mama, help the mama catch up on her rent and help buy the mama a new car. You know, all the stuff they weren't supposed to do per NCAA rules, but they was doing it anyway. Let's go to the movie Blind Side. When the white folks came and got that black dude out the ghetto. Allegedly how the story supposedly went. But that's what they've been doing all the time. And see, Deion, we're around here playing games, jealous and shit, but Deion has become a threat to the white mainstream power structure of the NCAA. They're so used to living free off of black talent. And Deion is trying to tell, like, look, he said, we have the talent, we just don't have the resources. And if you watch that 60-minute interview, he showed them how they have the up-to-date waiting pools with the heater inside the pool. He said, shit, we had to get in the pool with a fan, hoping it don't electrocute us. See, they made a point. He talked about the funding. So what he said, it resonates throughout all 50 states that's supposed to appropriately fund HBCUs, and all these people who are always siphoning off of black talent. I'm telling you, he rattled a lot of cages, and he continues to rattle cages. That's why we should not be hating on him, but we should be trying to push him forward, and not only push him, but also push ourselves. Because HBCUs, we were once king, but we're so busy trying to be like everybody else, we dimmed our own light, because we have this HBCU low self-esteem. But let's go back to what happened this past weekend. I think Jackson State, Alcorn, Hampton, who else had their homecoming? It was epic at those damn schools. You see that? Good Morning America's at Jackson State. The little celebrities came down. I don't care for Snoop Dogg, but the point that he came down, they brought more attention. And they brought in more black pride. What HBCU wouldn't want that? See how they always tout Spelman and Howard? Well, see, all the other HBCUs have the potential to rise up to that level. And that's why it's important that we take our talents and we invest it in us. And Deion said, look, I chose Florida State, but I'm bringing the result of me choosing Florida State, going to the NFL and producing the way I did, becoming this Hall of Famer and this popular primetime guy on television and movies and tried to rap. And I'm bringing it to a HBCU. And he said in a 60-minute interview, when they asked him, well, what if one of these Power 5 schools made you an offer, shit, up in the millions, give him like $8 million, that Nick Saban money. He said, hey, I ain't gonna lie, I got to entertain it. And so, don't think they're already making him an offer, not just because he's Deion Sanders, because they don't want Deion Sanders at the black school. And if y'all understand this, if you're so intelligent, use what the brother's dropping off right now and try to replicate it. That's all. It's not going to take away from who you are and who we are and who you are as an administrator, as a coach, and who we are as HBCU's graduates. What it's doing is causing us to step our game up, to come up. But in the meantime, while we're doing all that, do not lose the HBCU black cultural experience. And I'm going to close by saying this. We got a lot of black presidents, but what they're doing is, y'all don't understand. They're so intellectually lowbrow. They're so unexperienced and so lacking in shine. Let me tell you, when I was at Grambling and I got there in 1890, shit, in January of 1989, I got to experience one of the last great presidents that Grambling ever had. That was the last one. The rest of them were just presidents. His name was Joseph B. Johnson. Joseph B. Johnson had that prime effect before prime time. If you were there from 89, no, for people that were there from 77 to 91, because they ran Joseph B. Johnson out of there. He got on the board ass. He was always in Jet Magazine. He was always somewhere collecting a check for Grambling. And he walked with a particular swagger. And he oozed a particular savoir-faire. He was a fundraiser. That Joseph B. Johnson was the shit. And we have not had a president at Grambling with that much charisma and chutzpah and pizzazz like Joseph B. Johnson since 1991. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Those of you who were there from 90 or from 89 to 92, 91, 92, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Joseph B. Johnson was the shit. Now, did I agree with a lot? No, did we? When I was there, he was kind of clashing with the conscious students there. But one thing Joseph B. Johnson did I thought was awesome. One night, it was about 200 students, about 10:30 at night. It was protesting something that was going on. This is where the consciousness was heavy, and consciousness needed to be brought back to Grambling and other HBCUs. Because consciousness, the black conscious students, is what keeps the culture going. I know y'all want to think it's the black Greek, black fraternity. No, the black fraternities are great for the entertainment. And then they should to be there. They're a part of it. I love the Greek shows. And shout out to them damn AKAs. Give me a minute. And shout out to that spring 92, 91 line when they had at least about 102 deltas that came out. Ooh, give me fever. But the black Greeks play an intricate part as relates to the socializing of the campus. They need to be there. Joseph B. Johnson happened to be a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. He was awesome. I respected him. I admired him. He used to ride his bike on campus. But that night, we were walking, it was protesting, and I was just a young dude. I was new to all of this, but it was David Gibson, the sons and daughters of Imhotep, and Vanetta Gibson, his then wife. They were leading the march, and we went and knocked on the president's door. And I say I was in the crowd, but they went and knocked on the door. And he answered the door. That's when the president actually lived at that damn house. I think it's somewhere where I don't know what it is now, somewhere they keep boxes. I don't think the presidents have lived in there since Raymond Hicks. I know Dr. Lundy didn't live in there because he had his own place. But anyway, and he came to the door like 10 o'clock at night. He came to the door. He listened to what the students were saying. Now, they knocked on his door. He said, okay. He came outside and he said, okay, y'all meet me in the morning in my office. When they told, they can't do that now. They're not even trained to do something like that now. And so, shout out to, rest in peace, Joseph B. Johnson. And it was because of his leadership, his cultural awareness and even of the professors back then, that black consciousness and black culture was thick at Grambling. Now I don't know what's going on now. No, I'm just the way the times are, because I always say when I left school in my master's degree in '96, a lot of us, the conscious students, those who cared about blackness and all of that, and instead of trying to go corporate, I think a lot of us left, and it left the folks there kind of in a disarray. But they had like 3 or 4 presidents in 3 years, and the consciousness just left. The day consciousness left, the summer of 1996. Me and a lot of others, we finally graduated. And I think that made the administration very happy, because they never, that era of black consciousness and the students in demanding things and holding the president accountable and holding the vice president, holding the administration accountable, man, going in when stuff wasn't right. Those days ended after 97. And so that's what we have now. We don't have enough active students who are letting the administration telling them what to do instead of the administration telling them what to do. And that's why, and then black consciousness is not being pushed to the forefront. They all talking about some bullshit called diversity and inclusion, feminism, and then throwing words like misogyny, sexism, and all that bullshit. I don't even know if they have those cool conversations we used to have. So Rico, what's this got to do with the primetime effect? Hopefully in the recruitment, some of the brothers and sisters who are conscious, they'll start like, hey, let me go back to a Grambling, the Southern, the Howard, or Hampton, and they have at least 500 or 600 of them that didn't play no games. So anyway, shout out to Deion Sanders. We appreciate you, brother, at Jackson State. And I still got a problem with Jackson State suing Grambling. We know Grambling was going through that thing when the football players were protesting the poor conditions, and they didn't. They say, you know what, damn, we're not gonna go to the game, and Jackson State gonna sue them. Anyway, still our sister school in the swag, but that was petty at Jackson State, petty. But still, we're gonna be all right. But I just need the old heads to stop hating on Deion. Deion's presence in the SWAC is a good thing. And Coach Eddie Robinson of Alabama State, that was petty what you said. But y'all be cool. This is Rico the Opinionist. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. And also I have a book. It's called The Greatest Pain Ever Felt. Conversation with an absent biological father who never wanted to be found. It's only $10. Just cash at me, $ Rico the Opinionist, OPINIONIST. And if you decide to get it, please send me an email address so I can send it to you. It's in like a PDF format, so I can just email it right to you, open it up, and boom, there it is. And if not, the PayPal, Cash App. Look, if you're cool with me, fool with me. Shout out to Raider J in Memphis, Tennessee. Talk to y'all later. Peace.